Question 1. What legal actions must a California real estate broker take when a conflict of interest arises in a transaction? A. Disclose the conflict to all parties. B. Withdraw from the transaction. C. Ignore the conflict. D. Transfer the transaction to another broker. Answer: A. Disclose the conflict to all parties. Explanation: in California, when a conflict of interest arises, a real estate broker must disclose this conflict to all parties involved in the transaction. This is essential to maintain transparency and uphold ethical standards in real estate practices. Question 2. Describe the process for resolving a property line dispute in California. A. Filing a lawsuit in court. B. Mediation or arbitration. C. Ignoring the dispute. D. Automatically favoring the longer-term property owner. Answer: B. Mediation or arbitration. Explanation: property line disputes in California are commonly resolved through mediation or arbitration. These methods provide a platform for the involved parties to discuss and reach a mutually acceptable resolution without resorting to litigation. Question 3. How does the California Civil Code define a transferable development right in urban real estate? A. The right to develop land in a different location. B. The right to transfer property ownership. C. The right to change the zoning of a property. D. The right to unlimited property development. Answer: A. The right to develop land in a different location. Explanation: the California Civil Code defines transferable development rights as the right to develop land, which can be transferred from one parcel to another, allowing for development in a different location than the original property. Question 4. Explain the legal and financial implications for a California homeowner who discovers an unrecorded easement on their property. A. Full property redevelopment rights. B. Decreased property value and usage restrictions. C. No implications whatsoever. D. Increased property taxes. Answer: B. Decreased property value and usage restrictions. Explanation: discovering an unrecorded easement can lead to decreased property value and restrictions on the use of the property for the California homeowner. Easements can limit the owner's ability to fully utilize their land as initially intended. Question 5. What are the potential consequences for a California real estate agent who fails to disclose earthquake faults known to affect a property? A. Increased commission. B. Legal liability and loss of license. C. No consequences. D. A bonus from the seller. Answer: B. Legal liability and loss of license. Explanation: failing to disclose known earthquake faults can lead to serious legal liability for a real estate agent in California, including the potential loss of their professional license. Such non-disclosure violates ethical and legal obligations to clients. Question 6. In California, how does conversion from leasehold to fee simple affect property rights and values? A. Decreases property value. B. No effect on rights or values. C. Transfers ownership to the state. D. Increases property rights and values. Answer: D. Increases property rights and values. Explanation: converting from leasehold to fee simple typically increases both the property rights and the values in California. Fee simple ownership provides more comprehensive ownership rights, making the property more valuable. Question 7. Describe the steps a California homeowner must take to legally convert part of their property into a short-term rental unit. A. Obtain proper permits and adhere to local regulations. B. No action required. C. Only inform the neighbors. D. Pay a one-time fee. Answer: A. Obtain proper permits and adhere to local regulations. Explanation: to legally convert part of a property into a short-term rental unit in California, The homeowner must obtain the necessary permits and comply with local zoning and housing regulations, which may vary by location. Question 8. What are the legal requirements for a property listed as a heritage home in California, particularly regarding renovations? A. No restrictions on renovations. B. Approval from local historic preservation commission. C. Only internal renovations are allowed. D. Automatic state ownership. Answer. B. Approval from local historic preservation commission. Explanation. For a property listed as a heritage home, any renovations typically require approval from the local historic preservation commission in California. This ensures that the changes are in line with historical preservation standards. Question 9. How does the Mills Act affect property taxes and maintenance obligations for historic properties in California? A. Increases property taxes significantly. B. Provides tax incentives for preservation. C. Exempts properties from taxes. D. Transfers maintenance obligations to the state. Answer. B. Provides tax incentives for preservation. Explanation. The Mills Act offers property tax relief to owners of historic properties in California, incentivizing them to preserve and maintain the historic and architectural character of their buildings. Question 10. In California, under what circumstances can a property be subject to a forced sale, and what protections exist for homeowners? A. Sale can occur any time with no homeowner protection. B. Only with homeowner consent. C. Due to unpaid taxes or judgments, with exemptions under homestead laws. D. Forced sale is not possible in California. Answer. C. Due to unpaid taxes or judgments, with exemptions under homestead laws. Explanation. In California, a property can be subject to a forced sale due to unpaid taxes or judgments against the homeowner. However, there are protections for homeowners under homestead laws, which provide certain exemptions. Question 11. Explain the impact of California's Proposition 65 on real estate disclosures for commercial properties. A. No impact on real estate disclosures. B. Requires disclosure of exposure to hazardous substances. C. Only affects residential properties. D. Mandates environmental cleanup. Answer. B. Requires disclosure of exposure to hazardous substances. Explanation. Proposition 65 in California requires the disclosure of potential exposure to hazardous substances in commercial properties. This is to inform and protect occupants from environmental health risks. Question 12. How do air rights transactions work in densely populated areas of California, and what legal challenges are involved? A. No legal challenges, straightforward process. B. Involves transferring development rights, can face zoning and regulatory challenges. C. Only allowed in rural areas. D. Air rights transactions are not recognized in California. Answer. B. Involves transferring development rights, can face zoning and regulatory challenges. Explanation. Air rights transactions in California involve transferring development rights from one property to another, often in densely populated areas. These transactions can face various legal challenges, including zoning and regulatory compliance. Question 13. Describe the process and legal implications of removing a property from a homeowners association, HOA, in California. A. Automatically happens after 10 years. B. Involves legal proceedings and potential contractual challenges. C. Only requires a simple majority vote by the homeowners. D. Removal from HOA is not permitted. Answer. B. Involves legal proceedings and potential contractual challenges. Explanation. Removing a property from an HOA in California typically involves complex legal proceedings and can present contractual challenges. It often requires navigating the covenants, conditions, and restrictions, CC and Rs, of the HOA. Question 14. In a real estate transaction, how does a cloud on title discovered during escrow affect the sale process in California? A. Speeds up the sale process. B. No effect on the sale process. C. Requires resolution before the sale can proceed. D. Automatically nullifies the sale. Answer. C. Requires resolution before the sale can proceed. Explanation. A cloud on title discovered during escrow can delay or hinder the sale process in California. It must be resolved to ensure a clear title before the sale can proceed, as it indicates a potential claim or lien on the property. Question 15. What are the specific legal requirements for a dual agent in a California real estate transaction involving both buyer and seller? A. Dual agency is prohibited. B. Full disclosure and written consent from both parties. C. Only verbal agreement needed. D. No specific requirements. Answer. B. Full disclosure and written consent from both parties. Explanation. In California, a dual agent representing both the buyer and seller in a real estate transaction must provide full disclosure of the dual agency relationship and obtain written consent from both parties involved. Question 16. Describe the legal implications of selling a condominium conversion property in California. A. No legal implications. B. Requires approval from the City Council. C. Must comply with specific conversion regulations and tenant rights laws. D. Automatically doubles the property value. Answer. C. Must comply with specific conversion regulations and tenant rights laws. Explanation. Selling a condominium conversion property in California involves complying with specific regulations related to the conversion process and respecting tenant rights laws. It ensures that the conversion is legally sound and tenant protections are upheld. Question 17. What are the obligations of a California real estate agent in disclosing a property's vulnerability to wildfires? A. No obligation to disclose. B. Must disclose only if asked by the buyer. C. Mandatory disclosure regardless of location. D. Disclosure required only for properties in designated high-risk areas. Answer. D. Disclosure required only for properties in designated high-risk areas. Explanation. In California, real estate agents are obligated to disclose a property's vulnerability to wildfires if it is located in designated high-risk areas. This is crucial for informing potential buyers about the potential risks associated with the property. Question 18. How does a life estate impact the sale of a property in California, particularly regarding the rights of the life tenant and remainderman? A. Life estate has no impact on the sale. B. Sale cannot proceed until the life tenant's death. C. Life tenant retains use of the property until death. Remainderman receives ownership afterward. D. Remainderman has immediate full ownership. Answer. C. Life tenant retains use of the property until death. Remainderman receives ownership afterward. Explanation. In a life estate arrangement in California, the life tenant retains the right to use and occupy the property until their death. Afterward, the remainderman, the person entitled to the remainder interest, receives full ownership of the property. Question 19. In California, what legal challenges can arise from the discovery of an unpermitted addition to a property during a sale transaction? A. No challenges as unpermitted additions are common. B. Potential code violations, fines, and requirement for permits or removal. C. Automatic increase in property value. D. Unpermitted additions are always legalized retrospectively. Answer. B. Potential code violations, fines, and requirement for permits or removal. Explanation. The discovery of an unpermitted addition during a property sale in California can lead to legal challenges, including potential code violations, fines, and the requirement to obtain permits or even remove the addition. Question 20. Explain the significance of Coastal Commission approval for real estate development near California's shoreline and the common hurdles encountered. A. No significance or hurdles. B. Necessary for compliance with environmental and public access regulations can face delays and restrictions. C. Only required for commercial developments. D. Approval guarantees unlimited development rights. Answer. B. Necessary for compliance with environmental and public access regulations can face delays and restrictions. Explanation. Coastal Commission approval is crucial for real estate development near California's shoreline. It ensures compliance with environmental and public access regulations, but can often involve facing regulatory delays and restrictions. Question 21. A homeowner in California discovers an ancient Native American artifact on their property. What are their legal obligations regarding this discovery? A. Report to local authorities. B. Keep it as a personal possession. C. Sell it to the highest bidder. D. Destroy it to avoid legal issues. Answer. A. Report to local authorities. Explanation. In California, the discovery of an ancient Native American artifact on a property requires the homeowner to report it to local authorities. This is to ensure proper handling and preservation of cultural heritage. Question 22. Explain the legal consequences in California if a real estate agent fails to disclose a property's history of severe environmental contamination. A. No consequences. B. Reward from the seller. C. Legal liability and potential disciplinary actions. D. Public commendation. Answer. C. Legal liability and potential disciplinary actions. Explanation. Failing to disclose a property's history of severe environmental contamination can lead to legal liability and disciplinary actions against a real estate agent in California. Disclosure of such material facts is legally required. Question 23. How does California's Proposition 13 affect real estate transactions concerning the reassessment of property taxes? A. No effect on reassessment. B. Limits tax increases until property changes hands. C. Automatically triples property taxes. D. Property taxes are reassessed annually. Answer. B. Limits tax increases until property changes hands. Explanation. California's Proposition 13 limits the increase of property taxes until the ownership of the property changes hands, at which point the property is reassessed at current market value. Question 24. In California, what legal steps must a landlord follow to evict a tenant for non-payment of rent in a rent-controlled jurisdiction? A. Immediate eviction without notice. B. Provide proper notice and follow legal eviction procedures. C. Offer a payment plan. D. Seek tenant's voluntary departure. Answer. B. Provide proper notice and follow legal eviction procedures. Explanation. In a rent-controlled jurisdiction in California, a landlord must provide proper notice and follow legal procedures to evict a tenant for non-payment of rent, ensuring compliance with local rent control laws. Question 25. Describe the impact of a conservation easement on a California property owner's development rights. A. No impact. B. Restricts development to conserve land. C. Grants unlimited development rights. D. Transfers ownership to the state. Answer. B. Restricts development to conserve land. Explanation. A conservation easement in California typically restricts the property owner's development rights to conserve land for environmental or historical purposes, often in exchange for tax benefits. Question 26. How does the discovery of a cloud on title during a title search affect the purchase process of a property in California? A. Accelerates the purchase process. B. No effect on the process. C. Requires resolution of the issue before proceeding. D. Automatically nullifies the purchase. Answer. C. requires resolution of the issue before proceeding. Explanation. The discovery of a cloud on title during a title search in California requires resolution before the property purchase can proceed. It indicates potential legal claims or encumbrances on the property. Question 27. Scenario. A buyer in California is interested in a property, but learns it's under a Melrose district. What implications does this have for the buyer? A. No implications. B. Lower property taxes. C. Increased property taxes for specific local improvements. D. Automatic exemption from property taxes. Answer. C. Increased property taxes for specific local improvements. Explanation. Buying a property in a Melrose district in California means the buyer will face increased property taxes, which are used to fund specific local improvements like schools, roads, or public services. Question 28. What are the key legal considerations for a California real estate professional when handling a property that has been a crime scene? A. No considerations needed. B. Mandatory demolition of the property. C. Disclosure of the crime to potential buyers. D. Only disclose if the crime was recent. Answer. C. Disclosure of the crime to potential buyers. Explanation. A California real estate professional handling a property that has been a crime scene must disclose this information to potential buyers, particularly if the crime is of a nature that might materially affect the property's desirability. Question 29. Define capitalization rate, cap rate, in real estate investment and discuss its importance in evaluating a property in California. A. A measure of property size. B. Ratio of net operating income to property value. C. Fixed tax rate on properties. D. Interest rate on mortgages. Answer. B. Ratio of net operating income to property value. Explanation. The capitalization rate, or cap rate, is a key metric in real estate investment, representing the ratio of a property's net operating income to its current market value. It helps investors evaluate the potential return on investment for a property in California. Question 30. Scenario. After purchasing a new home in California, a buyer discovers the backyard shed encroaches on the neighbor's property. What are the potential legal remedies? A. Ignore the issue. B. Seek a boundary adjustment or easement. C. Automatic property seizure. D. Mandatory demolition of the shed. Answer. B. Seek a boundary adjustment or easement. Explanation. When a buyer discovers an encroachment, like a backyard shed on a neighbor's property in California, potential legal remedies include seeking a boundary adjustment or obtaining an easement agreement with the neighbor. Question 31. Explain the purpose and process of a 1031 exchange in real estate and its potential benefits for California investors. A. A tax on property sales. B. Tax-deferred exchange of investment properties. C. Mandatory property upgrade. D. Exchange of properties between family members. Answer. B. Tax-deferred exchange of investment properties. Explanation. A 1031 exchange in real estate allows California investors to defer capital gains taxes by exchanging one investment property for another. It's a strategic way to reinvest profits while deferring tax liabilities. Question 32. What are the implications of selling a property with a life estate attached to it in a California real estate transaction? A. No implications. B. Life tenant retains the right to use the property. C. Immediate eviction of the life tenant. D. Double the property's value. Answer. B. Life tenant retains the right to use the property. Explanation. When selling a property with a life estate in California, the life tenant retains the right to use and occupy the property for their lifetime. The new owner will receive full ownership only after the life tenant's death. Question 33. In California, How does the concept of community property affect the sale of a property during a divorce? A. No effect. B. Property is automatically sold. C. Property is divided equally between spouses. D. Property is granted to the spouse with higher income. Answer. C. Property is divided equally between spouses. Explanation. The concept of community property in California mandates that property acquired during marriage be divided equally between spouses in the event of a divorce. This affects how the property is handled in the sale. Question 34. Describe the role of escrow in a California real estate transaction and its importance. A. No role or importance. B. Acts as a tax collection agent. C. Neutral third party managing transaction documents and funds. D. Determines property value. Answer. C. Neutral third party managing transaction documents and funds. Explanation. In California real estate transactions, escrow plays a crucial role as a neutral third party responsible for securely holding and managing transaction documents and funds until all conditions are met. Question 35. Scenario. A property owner in California is facing foreclosure. Describe the foreclosure process and what options the owner might have to avoid it. A. Foreclosure cannot be avoided. B. Immediate eviction without notice. C. Notice of default, opportunity to cure, public auction. D. Automatic transfer to a government agency. Answer. C. Notice of default, opportunity to cure, public auction. Explanation. The foreclosure process in California involves a notice of default, providing the owner an opportunity to cure the default, followed by a public auction if the default is not cured. The owner can avoid foreclosure by paying the owed amount or negotiating with the lender. Question 36. What legal implications and responsibilities exist for a real estate agent in California when representing both the buyer and seller in the same transaction? Dual agency. A. Dual agency is illegal. B. No special implications or responsibilities. C. Must provide full disclosure and obtain consent from both parties. D. Agent chooses which party to favor. Answer. C. Must provide full disclosure and obtain consent from both parties. Explanation. In California, a real estate agent representing both the buyer and seller, dual agency, must provide full disclosure of the dual relationship and obtain written consent from both parties, ensuring unbiased representation. Question 37. Explain the significance of zoning laws in real estate development in California. A. No significance. B. Determines land use and building regulations. C. Only applicable to rural areas. D. Solely for aesthetic purposes. Answer. B. Determines land use and building regulations. Explanation. Zoning laws in California are significant as they determine land use and building regulations. They dictate what types of structures can be built and their intended uses, impacting real estate development decisions. Question 38. A real estate investor is considering a property in a historic district of California. What additional considerations should they take into account? A. No additional considerations. B. Potential restrictions on renovations and upkeep. C. Automatic increase in property value. D. Mandatory property demolition. Answer. B. Potential restrictions on renovations and upkeep. Explanation. Investing in a property in a historic district of California requires considering potential restrictions on renovations and upkeep to preserve the historic integrity of the area. Question 39. Define cap rate in real estate investment and its relevance in evaluating a rental property in California. A. Measurement of property size. B. Ratio of net operating income to property value. C. Fixed property tax rate. D. Type of mortgage loan. Answer. B. Ratio of net operating income to property value. Explanation. The capitalization rate, cap rate, in real estate investment is the ratio of a rental property's net operating income to its current market value. It helps investors in California evaluate the property's potential return on investment. Question 40. How does the Americans with Disabilities Act, ADA, impact real estate properties in California? A. No impact. B. Requires all properties to be fully accessible. C. Applies only to government buildings. D. Ensures accessibility in public and commercial spaces. Answer. D. Ensures accessibility in public and commercial spaces. Explanation. The Americans with Disabilities Act, ADA, impacts real estate properties in California by requiring accessibility features in public and commercial spaces. This ensures that individuals with disabilities have equal access to facilities. Question 41. What legal actions can a property owner in California take if their neighbor's new construction violates local zoning regulations? A. Request immediate demolition. B. Seek legal recourse through local planning authorities. C. No legal actions available. D. Apply for a variance for the neighbor. Answer. B. Seek legal recourse through local planning authorities. Explanation. In California, if a neighbor's construction violates local zoning regulations, the affected property owner can seek legal recourse through local planning authorities or potentially through civil litigation. Question 42. Define material fact in the context of a California real estate transaction. What kinds of information are considered material facts? A. Only aesthetic features. B. Information irrelevant to the transaction. C. Information that could affect a property's value or desirability. D. Personal information about the buyer or seller. Answer. C. Information that could affect a property's value or desirability. Explanation. A material fact in a California real estate transaction is any information that could reasonably affect the property's value or a buyer's decision to purchase it. This includes structural issues, legal problems, or neighborhood changes. Question 43. Scenario. A California property listed for sale is found to be in a designated flood zone. How does this designation affect the seller's disclosure obligations and the buyer's insurance requirements? A. No effect on disclosure or insurance. B. Seller must disclose and buyer may need special insurance. C. Seller can withhold the information. D. Buyer must purchase flood insurance before offer. Answer. B. Seller must disclose and buyer may need special insurance. Explanation. In California, a property being in a designated flood zone requires the seller to disclose this fact. The buyer may then need to obtain special flood insurance, which can impact their decision and costs. Question 44. Explain the concept of easement appurtenant and provide an example of how it might be used in a California real estate scenario. A. Right to access public transportation. B. A personal privilege to use land. C. A right attached to the land, like a driveway crossing a neighboring property. D. Solely for aesthetic purposes. Answer. C. A right attached to the land, like a driveway crossing a neighboring property. Explanation. An easement appurtenant in California real estate is a right that runs with the land, allowing the holder to use a neighboring property for a specific purpose. For example, a driveway easement might allow one property owner to drive across a neighbor's land to reach their home. Question 45. A commercial property owner in California wants to lease their property. What are the key components that should be included in the lease agreement? A. Only the rental price. B. Rental price, lease term, and responsibilities of each party. C. Lease term and property size. D. Decoration guidelines only. Answer. B. Rental price, lease term, and responsibilities of each party. Explanation. A commercial lease agreement in California should include key components such as the rental price, lease term, and clearly defined responsibilities and rights of both the landlord and the tenant. Question 46. Describe the process of obtaining a conditional use permit in California and in what scenarios it might be required. A. Required for all property sales. B. No such permit exists. C. Applied for when a proposed use is not normally permitted by zoning. D. Automatically granted to all property owners. Answer. C. Applied for when a proposed use is not normally permitted by zoning. Explanation. A conditional use permit in California is required when a property owner wants to use their land in a way that is not normally allowed by the current zoning regulations. The process involves applying to local authorities and may include hearings or community input. Question 47. Scenario. A real estate agent is selling a home that was previously a crime scene in California. What are the disclosure requirements? A. Must disclose if within the past 3 years. B. Never needs to disclose. C. Only disclose if asked. D. Disclose only violent crimes. Answer. A. Must disclose if within the past 3 years. Explanation. In California, a real estate agent must disclose if a property was the scene of a crime, such as a homicide or suicide, if it occurred within the past 3 years, as it may materially affect the desirability of the property. Question 48. What is the homestead exemption in California, and what benefits does it offer homeowners? A. No benefits, purely symbolic. B. Protection against forced sale to satisfy certain debts. C. Automatic tax exemption. D. Guarantees a fixed mortgage rate. Answer. B. Protection against forced sale to satisfy certain debts. Explanation. The homestead exemption in California offers homeowners protection against the forced sale of their home to satisfy certain types of debt, providing a degree of financial security in cases of financial distress or bankruptcy. Question 49. Define transfer disclosure statement, TDS, in California real estate and explain its importance in property transactions. A. Auctional marketing tool. B. Document outlining property features. C. Mandatory disclosure of material facts about the property. D. Only for luxury properties. Answer. C. Mandatory disclosure of material facts about the property. Explanation. The Transfer Disclosure Statement, TDS, in California real estate is a legally required document where the seller discloses material facts about the condition and history of the property, critical for informed decision-making by the buyer. Question 50. In a California real estate transaction, what is the significance of an as-is clause in the purchase agreement? A. The property comes fully furnished. B. Buyer accepts the property in its current condition. C. Seller guarantees no defects. D. Property is free. Answer. B. Buyer accepts the property in its current condition. Explanation. An as-is clause in a California real estate purchase agreement signifies that the buyer agrees to accept the property in its existing condition without expecting the seller to make repairs or improvements. Question 51. What are the implications of California's Proposition 19 for senior homeowners looking to sell their primary residence? A. No implications. B. Allows transfer of tax assessment to a new home. C. Mandatory downsizing. D. Increased taxes on sale. Answer. B. Allows transfer of tax assessment to a new home. Explanation. Proposition 19 in California allows senior homeowners to transfer the tax assessment of their primary residence to a new home, potentially lowering their property taxes when moving within the state. Question 52. How does California's Ellis Act impact the process of converting rental units into condominiums? A. No impact. B. Provides a legal process for landlords to exit the rental business. C. Prohibits conversions entirely D. Requires tenant approval. Answer. B. Provides a legal process for landlords to exit the rental business. Explanation. The Ellis Act in California allows landlords to legally exit the rental business and convert rental units into condominiums or other uses, subject to certain conditions and tenant protections. Question 53. Describe the legal considerations for a California property located in a seismic hazard zone. A. No special considerations. B. Mandatory property abandonment. C. Disclosure of seismic risk and compliance with building codes. D. Increased property taxes. Answer. C. Disclosure of seismic risk and compliance with building codes. Explanation. For properties in California's seismic hazard zones, there are legal considerations such as mandatory disclosure of seismic risks to potential buyers and compliance with specific building codes to enhance earthquake safety. Question 54. Explain the legal implications of a mechanics lion in a California real estate transaction. A. No implications. B. Prevents property sale until paid. C. Automatic property upgrade. D. Reduces property taxes. Answer. B. Prevents property sale until paid. Explanation. A mechanics lien in California is a legal claim against a property by a contractor or supplier for unpaid work or materials. It can prevent the sale of the property until the lien is satisfied or resolved. Question 55. What are the key responsibilities of a property manager in a residential rental property in California? A. Only collecting rent. B. Managing maintenance, tenant relations, and lease compliance. C. Decorating the property. D. Setting property prices. Answer. B. Managing maintenance, tenant relations, and lease compliance. Explanation. The key responsibilities of a property manager in a residential rental property in California include managing maintenance and repairs, ensuring tenant relations and satisfaction, and enforcing lease terms and compliance. Question 56. Scenario. A property owner in California wants to install solar panels on their home. What are the potential benefits, costs, and legal considerations? A. No benefits or costs. B. Increases property value, may have installation costs, and requires local permits. C. Illegal in California. D. Free installation and automatic tax credits. Answer. B. Increases property value, may have installation costs, and requires local permits. Explanation. Installing solar panels in California can increase property value and reduce energy costs. However, it may involve installation costs, and the homeowner must consider local permitting requirements and any HOA rules. Question 57. Define gross rent multiplier and how it is used in evaluating rental properties in California. A. Property decoration standard. B. Ratio of property price to annual rental income. C. Fixed tax rate. D. Type of mortgage loan. Answer. B. Ratio of property price to annual rental income. Explanation. The gross rent multiplier, GRM, is a metric used in evaluating rental properties, calculated as the ratio of the property's price to its annual rental income. It helps investors in California assess the property's earning potential and value. Question 58. What is constructive eviction, and under what circumstances might it occur in California? A. Tenant voluntarily leaves. B. Landlord makes the property uninhabitable. C. Eviction without legal process. D. Automatic eviction after property sale. Answer. B. Landlord makes the property uninhabitable. Explanation. Constructive eviction in California occurs when a landlord's actions or neglect make a property uninhabitable, effectively forcing the tenant to leave. This can include failing to provide essential services or repairs. Question 59. Scenario. A commercial property owner is facing foreclosure. Explain the foreclosure process and the owner's options in California. A. Immediate property seizure. B. Notice of default, opportunity to cure, auction. C. No foreclosure process in California. D. Transfer to a government agency. Answer B. Notice of default, opportunity to cure, auction. Explanation. In California, the foreclosure process for a commercial property typically involves a notice of default, providing the owner an opportunity to cure the default, followed by an auction if the default is not resolved. Question 60. Describe the impact and requirements of California's Green Building Standards Code on new construction projects. A. No impact or requirements. B. Mandatory use of eco-friendly materials only. C. Energy efficiency, water conservation, and environmental quality standards. D. Only for government buildings. Answer C. Energy efficiency, water conservation, and environmental quality standards. Explanation. California's Green Building Standards Code sets requirements for new construction projects, focusing on energy efficiency, water conservation, and environmental quality to promote sustainable and eco-friendly building practices.